announcements. We have one non-agenda item speaker, and then we'll get through the middle school alignment. So with that, I want to call to order. The official time is 6:19 p.m. Please rise for the flag salute.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, for liberty and equality.
So, Trustee Northup and Trustee Bruno, unfortunately will not be able to attend due to they're just late. They're on their way. So, we'll now move to speakers wishing to address the board on non-agenda item. By the way, before that, we have Anna, who's our translator in the back, and she will be assisting translation. Ana es nuestra traductora. Si alguien que necesita, por favor, ella está en el fondo, sigue y dícenos para que ella pueda ayudarle.
Okay, so we have one speaker, Brett Elliott, on first grade placement. Come on up, Brett.
I'm here today because my wife and I are in a frustrating loop with the district office over our daughter, Lena's enrollment. Lena turned 6 on August 31st. Because of that birthday, the district is telling us she has to skip the first year of school and go straight to first grade. The problem is she's never been in a public classroom. Her current teachers at Carlmont Parents Nursery School have written a letter, which I've included in your packet, warning that she isn't ready for the workload or the social expectations of first grade. I want to point you specifically to two. We were proactive. We emailed the district registrar last May to ask about this exact situation. His written reply was that it would be unusual for a child with no prior schooling to be put into first grade. We made our family plans based on that official word, and now the district is trying to walk back that and force us into a grade that she isn't prepared for. We aren't asking for a special rule. We're asking the district to honor the specific guidance it gave us. California law gives you the local authority to decide with us. We're asking you to use that authority and let us sign a kindergarten continuance agreement so Lena can start her education at the right level.
And that's all of our public speakers for the non-agenda item.
Thank you. So I'd like to just open with this opening comment that I want to thank you. Good evening. I want to thank you for being here tonight. We appreciate you taking the time to share your thoughts on an issue that matters deeply to our families, students, and staff. We know there will be a range of perspectives shared this evening, and that is exactly the purpose of this forum. During public comment, our role as trustees is to listen, to understand the experience and concerns of the community, of our community, and to consider the full picture in our deliberations. During the public comments part, we won't engage in back and forth during individual comments, but certainly after the public comment, the board will discuss what we've heard, and your feedback is an essential part of our decision-making process. In a few minutes, I will go over the kind of ground rules for the public comment part. But with that, I'd like to turn it over to Superintendent DeGuara for a brief overview.
Great. Thank you, President Koss. I just want to take a couple minutes to share the presentation that we've shared in the past with a few little nuances. I think certainly every time we reach out to our community, we learn of different perspectives or strive to clarify any information that's out there. I want to also thank all of our Sandpiper and Nesbitt, actually our district community, for being here tonight to participate in this important information sharing. This evening, I want to talk a little bit about enrollment, why we find ourselves here, and I will make sure that I am clicking the slide as I'm looking at my data. There we go. So a couple things that came before the board is really the idea, should BRSSD consider transitioning from two TK8 or K8 schools to one? And I know while our community feels that this has been kind of a quick transition, we've actually been monitoring enrollment and program growth over the last several years. Certainly when I joined the district 6 years ago, that was one of the tasks that our board gave to me. Look at enrollment, monitor enrollment, and make suggestions as we go over time. One of those suggestions several years ago was to look at design thinking here at Sandpiper and Ivy at Nesbitt as potential opportunities to spur growth. As we've moved through time, we've realized that we haven't seen the growth we'd hoped for within both of those placements. The sustainability of 3 middle schools is becoming less feasible. In about 6 years, we'll have about 290 fewer students than we do this year. And that's the size of both of our middle schools, small middle schools combined. While the models at our middle schools inherently come with additional costs, it's not the costs or the finances that are really driving it. We've been looking at enrollment desires from the community, as well as ensuring that the programs that are offered at both schools remain feasible and remain strong. When we look at a couple of the data points right now, approximately 30% of the students attending 5th grade at Nesbitt and Sandpiper last year matriculated into 6th grade here at Nesbitt and Sandpiper. So about 30% retention from 5th grade between Nesbitt and Sandpiper combined. When we look at our enrollment through 6th through 8th grade ranges from 36 to 52. You can see that how that's broken across at Sandpiper and Nesbitt. And then in terms of capacity, we're between 70 and 79% program capacity at both schools. When we look at decision points and ideas, as I shared just a second ago, finances come up as a strong point, but I will say that that wasn't our starting point. Really, our starting point was looking at enrollment, was looking at community transition from 5th grade into 6th grade, looking at the number of students that currently are enrolled that are seeking transfer to Ralston, the comprehensive middle school, as well as ensuring that the programmatic success at each school is there. We find it really difficult when new students enrolling in the district are placed at one of our 2 small middle schools. That makes planning extremely difficult. Our teachers, our communities take great care in ensuring that they are planning appropriate programs. That becomes hard to do when new students coming are driven towards 1 or 2 small programs. So looking at the number of factors, transportation is a factor that we look at. Currently, transportation, we have SamTrans that goes from the Redwood Shores up to Ralston with no return travel back. It's the reverse in the afternoons. The district does rely on SamTrans transportation. We continue to work with SamTrans to adjust any district needs. In fact, the SamTrans annual community outreach is happening next week. Finances, as I mentioned, does come into play. It's not the driver. We anticipate each small school program runs roughly between $300,000 or $400,000 additional. That's the savings we would anticipate. Enrollment related to facilities, definitely making sure our facilities can do it, but it's also programmatic. As I shared, we want to ensure that our programs are staffed and enrolled appropriately. We take time to ensure balanced classrooms. And that's hard to do when kiddos that are enrolling in honestly anytime after our internal fifth grade slot. It's hard to do to ensure that balance. And then, of course, tonight we're looking at community desire and input. So that puts us with one of four choices moving forward. The first choice is status quo, keeping Ralston, Nesbit, and Sandpiper remaining as is. The one caveat I do want to say is that we owe it to our students and to our community to make sure that our programs are running at capacity, to ensure that the program is feasible for the students and staff. And that would come at making sure that we are optimizing enrollment at all of our schools. That is our goal. That is our charge. The potential for that of making adjustments to maximize enrollment at Sandpiper and Nesbit is something that we would need to do. Choices 2 and 3 are slight variations of one another, and that is to reduce one of the two small schools, either Sandpiper or Nesbit. And finally, option 4 is one that would take many years. I won't say many years, probably 3-ish years to assess. That is much more complex. It would involve likely moving elementary students to another site, creating 2 middle school programs, and finding kind of that middle of the road kind of model. Again, it would take a planning year, it would take a facilities study year, and then the change probably could happen the 3rd year out. Just a couple things that we've heard from our community. We heard loud and clear about the survey not being representative of community desires. We heard that, the word realignment or middle school alignment really didn't perhaps capture what we were looking to do. And honestly, the study was designed to get a feel for community desires, things that people found attractive to our middle schools. And no survey can ever capture 100% of the voice or opinions. From my perspective, that survey does provide information. That information is probably lowest in terms of our consideration using that data to drive our decision. When we look at the enrollment study, we also add questions about our demographer. Did he look at the developments planned in Redwood City and in Belmont? Yes. When the demographer does their study, they look and talk with all of city folks. They try and identify potential developments, look at the housing that is slated for those areas, and base their projections on that. We've also had questions about what happens if Nesbit or Sandpiper were to close. And a couple of considerations. One is clarifying that we're looking at middle school programs only. We're looking at 6, 7, and 8. TKK5 remains untouched and the same. If a school were to close, we would need to determine how we execute that transition, whether it's the 6th grade, 7th grade transitioning to another school all at once, or if there's a slow fade. And then finally, the choice is important. We want to work with our community to ensure that our students who are impacted by the decision most have priority in one of the other 2 schools. So we would work very closely with families. And then finally, when we look at transportation, I mentioned this, Samtrans is our transportation source. Either decision, any decision, we would continue to work side by side with Samtrans to service our community the best way possible. And then finally, timeline. We're in the January, the community outreach portion. We are hoping as a board to make the decision, whatever that may be, at the February timeframe. Folks have asked and shared, hey, this seems quick. Why do we need to make that decision in February? The truth of the matter is staffing. We look at staffing. We have to make staffing adjustments. We have to make sure that our families have their choice in middle school. We do that middle school survey choice. And then we work on balancing. We work on slotting and aligning students for their middle school program. So that's the timeline there. And I'll turn it back over to Trustee Koss for public comment.
Ms. Ellinger, would you put that screen up? Thank you. So to participate, please, and if you haven't yet, please complete a speaker card with Ms. Ellinger, that lovely shade of green. Speakers will be called in the order received. You have 3 minutes per person per topic. And the board can adjust the time limit. I would say that we really want to hear from everybody. So if somebody before you has set a theme or a topic, and you have other points, please maybe just go to those other points or just add on to what other speakers have said. We really want to hear your perspective and make sure that we hear from everybody in a timely manner. Again, this is a sensitive topic, as we've discussed, with real impact on student families and staff. And please, again, focus your comments on the issues and experiences. And I think that's it. So with that, Ms. Ellinger, should we start with the first comment?
Absolutely. So what I'll be doing is I'll be calling up 3 speakers at a time. So just go ahead and line up. First, we have Valerie Gao, Kristen Osorio, and Francesca Sarkowski.
Should I begin? Hello, my name is Valerie Gao, and I teach 8th grade at Sandpiper. And I want to thank the board and Superintendent DeGarrett for their time and consideration. I especially want to acknowledge the parents, students, and staff that came out here today to support Sandpiper. Seeing you here is a powerful reminder that this school is not just a program, but a community that people believe in. When I was first hired at BRSSD, I worked at Ralston. Then, when Sandpiper was opening its 8th grade to be a full middle school program, I was offered an opportunity. I decided to go for it since it was a chance for me to help build something new and explore a different kind of learning environment within our district. I want to share with you some key points that make Sandpiper unique. Sandpiper's strongest data points is acceptance and belonging, which is a huge accomplishment for any middle school. But what does that look like beyond a score and its impact over time? Let me share a story. Our first graduating class of 2020 lost something huge. The pandemic shut everything down in March. They never returned to campus. They missed their Great America trip. They missed their graduation ceremony. They lost an entire trimester together. And yet, in 2024, 4 years later, they organized a reunion on their own. They contacted every classmate, reached out to current and former teachers, brought their families, and created an event simply to reconnect. Seeing them as young adults, still connected and still showing up for one another was unforgettable. That is what belonging looks like. Not just a number, but a community that chooses to come back to the middle school that helps shape who they are. Another data point that often comes up is academic rigor, and I'd like to reframe rigor as how much students grow within a year. In just 1 year, our English learner progress on the state dashboard moved from red to blue. That is a 24% growth. That means nearly 69% of our English learners are now making progress. This is remarkable growth for a single year. That kind of growth comes from being attentive to data, seeking professional development, adjusting instruction, and responding thoughtfully to student needs. In just 1 year, many Sandpiper students who entered behind in math leave at or above grade level. In green, those are the students that made over a year's worth of growth in math for 2023, 2024, and 2025. And that's just the 8th grade. So we also see that trend with accelerated students in Algebra 1, with many ready for Algebra 2 and even pre-calculus. This is due to our block schedule with 2 1-hour and 50-minute math classes each week, which supports that depth of learning and allows for differentiation to meet our students where they are. I had one student who was working at a 5th grade math level. Knowing her circumstances, I gave her extra support during homeroom through one-on-one mentorship. She didn't just grow, she excelled. She reached grade level, gained confidence, and earned a math achievement certificate at graduation. More importantly, her view of what was possible for her future expanded. That is bigger. I'm almost done. Sandpiper shows what is possible when a school model is designed to support deep relationships, responsive teaching, and meaningful growth. It doesn't replace other approaches. It adds something extremely valuable to the district as a whole. In just a handful of years, Sandpiper has made many intentional changes and has already shown meaningful success. It truly feels like we are finally hitting our stride. To close or dismantle this program now is not solving a problem. It is interrupting a success. Thank you.
Good evening, Belmont-Redwood Shores Board of Trustees, Superintendent DeGuara, staff, families, and community members. I am Kristen Osorio, a 7th grade teacher here at Sandpiper. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight, and I appreciate the time and care you are giving to these important decisions. As the board considers their decision regarding the district's middle school programs, I want to highlight what makes Sandpiper a strong and valuable educational option within our district. Our district is fortunate to have multiple middle school programs that offer meaningful learning experiences and strong support for students. Each serves families in different ways, and I want to sincerely thank all middle school educators across the district for their dedication and care for our students. So Sandpiper is a design thinking school, and this philosophy shapes learning every day across all subjects. Design thinking means that students learn by identifying real problems, understanding the people affected by them, and creating thoughtful solutions in math, science, humanities, arts, and beyond. It is also a way of thinking students will carry into their daily life, how they approach challenges, work with others, and reflect on their choices. Through this human-centered approach, students develop essential skills such as empathy, critical thinking, and metacognition, collaboration, communication, and problem solving. A defining strength of Sandpiper is the close relationship between teachers and students. In this learning environment, teachers truly know their students, their strengths, challenges, and learning needs, and are able to support both academic and social emotional growth. Students feel known, supported, and engaged. Sandpiper's programs are intentionally inclusive and responsive to diverse learners. Through flexible instruction and reflective project-based learning, students learn, how to think deeply, revise their thinking, and persevere through challenges. Importantly, Sandpiper prepares students not only for higher levels of education, but for the world beyond school. Students develop the skills needed to collaborate, adapt, consider multiple perspectives, and navigate real-life challenges thoughtfully. The middle school years are critical, and Sandpiper provides a supportive environment where students grow academically, socially, and personally. Sandpiper's middle school program reflects the district's core values and strengthens the range of quality options available in our district. Now, on a final personal note, when I started my teaching career a little over 10 years ago, I never imagined that I would be a middle school teacher and loved it. You told me that, I would probably say you were crazy. Now, the possibility of not being able to continue being a middle school teacher is something that is very difficult for me to think about. So I really appreciate all the thought and consideration that you're making with these decisions. Thank you.
Okay. Hello, my name is Francesca Karkowski, and I teach sixth grade math and science at Sandpiper. Our middle school community is truly special. Teachers and students are closely connected, and friendships naturally form across grade levels. Walking the halls each day, you see smiles, hear laughter, and oftentimes you'll hear students yelling hi to their teachers. A source of pride has been the positive feedback we receive directly from students via Youth Truth about our school's culture, student sense of belonging, and the strong relationships they experience here. When I think back to my middle school years, I remember how challenging this time could be, which is why it means so much that our students know they matter and are truly cared for. Beyond academics, we nurture curiosity, growth, and kindness. Students collaborate on projects, lead clubs, and support one another during transitions from elementary to middle school. Families are part of this fabric. Siblings grow up together here. Parents volunteer and celebrate milestones. Our community works tirelessly to create a safe, inclusive environment where students can thrive. As the district is considering changes, I ask you to weigh the relationships, routines, and supports that make Sandpiper a home for so many families and our team. Thank you.
Okay, and next up we'll have Supriti Bhopale, Smitha Raman, and Swikriti.
Trustees and Superintendent DeGuara. My name is Supriti Bhopale, and I'm currently a senior at Carmont High School. The comments I provide are on behalf of myself and my older brother Sushant, currently a sophomore at UCLA. We both attended Sandpiper from kindergarten through 8th grade and are disappointed to hear that the district is considering closing Sandpiper Middle School. Our experiences at Sandpiper Middle School were instrumental in shaping us as individuals. Outside the classroom, we employed critical thinking and logic in robotics, expressed creativity through participating in theater productions, and learned valuable lessons about leadership on the basketball team. These extracurricular activities helped us explore interests, which we could do because we were not spending hours each day on a bus. Also, Sandpiper's small class size fostered community and connection to a degree that a larger school may not have been able to provide. Importantly, Sandpiper prepared us well for Carmont. The project-based learning and design thinking aligned well with classes at Carmont, such as AP Seminar and AP Research. Even in math and foreign language, we were able to take honors and AP classes, and we know this to be true for many of our Carmont peers who also attended Sandpiper for middle school. Moreover, having experienced the traffic commuting between Redwood Shores and Belmont every day in high school, we can say with confidence that the benefits of a short commute to Sandpiper could not be underestimated. In essence, Sandpiper provides a unique middle school experience that prepares students well for high school, college, and beyond. As evidence of its impact, Sandpiper Middle School graduates have been accepted to and are thriving at top universities such as UCLA, UC Berkeley, and Stanford. I hope the district leadership considers all the benefits that Sandpiper can offer students before you make your decision. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for your time this evening. I'm Smitha Ratnam. BRSSD is an amalgamation of Belmont and Redwood Shores. We have 2 middle schools in Belmont, serving 4 elementary schools. It's only equitable and fair for the 2 Redwood Shore schools to have a dedicated local middle school, especially for families who find the unique program a perfect fit for their individual choices. Sandpiper Middle was also funded with community contribution, some local and state funds, but a large chunk came from school force, our tax dollars, via Measure C and Measure P, for which many of us parents campaigned actively. So it's only fair that this community requests and implores the board for a voice in deciding what the future state of the school would be. Demographics have been mentioned in prior meetings. Demographies are always shifting due to various factors, macroeconomics, geopolitics, immigration policies, social constructs. It's one data point to influence a decision. Projections can never guarantee an increase or decrease in birth rate. If we push closure now, we could very well need a middle school in 5 to 10 years based on shifts again. So something for us to double click on. The school also has gone through a lot of teething pains. My older child was the 3rd batch. We've had our challenges, in the initial years, but it is only in the recent years that it is hitting optimal run rate. And it has reached a stage of maturity of programming. And it doesn't feel ideal to shut a program at this stage of maturity and further improvement. I've spent 25 years in tech, and I see that design thinking is a critical, absolutely critical foundational building block and imperative for children to be successful in the future. Ralston is already overloaded with 1,200 students, older infrastructure. Pushing this to 1,400, 1,500 is only going to impact quality and output. We'll definitely see supply-demand constraints as well. As a Sandpiper parent for the last 14 years, and also as the theater producer for Sandpiper the last 5 years, it's been an absolute joy and privilege for me to watch kids who were shy, reserved, and hesitant blossom into poised, unabashed young adults through the support of a small, tight-knit community, specialized resources, student-to-staff ratio that's offered here at Sandpiper. It's for this reason that I have an obligation to advocate for a school that has given students of diverse backgrounds and needs equitable opportunities to succeed, whether it be through STEAM or the performing arts. I respectfully ask the board to work with the community to brainstorm alternatives and avoid rushing into a decision that somehow appears to be an accelerated process. Community awareness is still emerging. We need sufficient time to evaluate options, implications, deliberate thoughtfully, and plan accordingly. Thank you for your consideration.
Hello, board members. My name is Sweekriti Ratnam. I attended Sandpiper from kindergarten to 8th grade and am currently a senior at Carlmont High School. While there are numerous benefits to a small school environment, Sandpiper gave me the fundamental opportunity to better myself. As a more reserved person, I was able to socialize and seek support in a tight-knit community, garnering a sense of stability and cohesion from elementary school all the way to middle school. It was this support that enabled me to get out of my comfort zone and try new activities such as sports and the performing arts. While at Sandpiper, I witnessed a staunch commitment to student mental health and well-being, where it was far easier to receive mental health support due to the counselor to student ratios, and where teachers had the ability to ensure every student was able to speak with a counselor. Sometimes we as students don't fully understand when to seek help, so having the added personalized support of the adults around us was absolutely crucial to a culture of student welfare. Additionally, Sandpiper's project-based learning model is conducive to real-world scenarios and has definitely supported the work I've done at Carlmont High School. From analyzing social and cultural perspectives through literature to using STEM education to address environmental damage and real-world problems, we have always been pushed to understand the impact of our education on the world around us. The work I've done at Sandpiper, from design thinking in science and math classes to public speaking and graphic design electives, and the collaborative approach used in every English classroom has prepared me for the work being done at Sequoia Union High School District high schools. And some students do respond better to a hands-on, engaging nature of project-based learning, and they deserve a learning environment that supports this. By potentially closing such a forward-thinking style of instructions, students who don't fit the traditional academic model will be stifled. I'm incredibly grateful for the education I've received at Sandpiper for 9 years, and it has been the community, the personalized support, and the unique academic experience that has allowed me to grow as a student and an individual. I respectfully hope that the board will consider the equitable learning opportunities that Sandpiper has been able to give all students before making a decision. Thank you.
All right, next up we'll have Christopher Yip, Ying Lee, and Tish Lawson. Trish Lawson.
Hello, board members. My name is Christopher, and I go to Sandpiper Middle School. I'm in 8th grade, and here are 3 reasons why Sandpiper should stay open. Firstly, we have good teachers here, and they get to know you really well due to the small class sizes. For example, my 6th grade teachers still remember me. And then during intersessions, teachers can do cool classes because they know you, and they can trust you. Some of the intersessions that I have enjoyed have been polymer clay and Japanese culture. Secondly, Sandpiper is close for people who live in Redwood Shores, while Ralston or Nesbitt would require taking a bus. Additionally, Sandpiper is also good because I can bike to school with my friends and have fun. And then after school, we can go play or do other things since we have a mode of transportation. Finally, Sandpiper has quest time where students can choose what they want to research or build for around 2 weeks to expand our knowledge in a certain subject. For example, the quest time that I'm doing right now is building an automated watering system. Thank you.
Hello, school board members. My name is Ying, and I'm the proud parent of Christopher, who you heard from just now. I would like to share our family's positive experience at Sandpiper Middle School. Christopher has attended Sandpiper K-8, so all the years here, and I have served as school force rep, PTA leadership, and specifically, I have been room parent during the 6th and 7th grades. And I have had the privilege of spending time on campus, interacting and observing the students during the school day. I witnessed firsthand how welcoming and engaged the students are. The teachers foster a setting where students are encouraged to interact, build friendships, and develop social skills. Everything that our teachers talked about this evening is absolutely true. I especially appreciate that students interact naturally and respectfully. In one of the field trips was the MSI's boat ride, and during the downtime, it was so amazing to watch the students chat with each other, interact and play games in a big social circle where students can come and go to participate as they wished. I think this is something very special about Sandpiper community. Another big plus is the ability for kids to bicycle or walk to school. The students form informal social groups to bicycle together. That is really great for practicing responsibility and forming social ties. Sandpiper is also special because teachers have the flexibility to offer classes and projects that supplement the main curriculum. The electives and the intersession classes, such as cooking, CSI, technology, Japanese, are wonderful examples of this. Another special aspect is the quest time projects. Students get many opportunities to do design thinking. And truthfully, I think going through the process of picking projects that are meaningful to them is in itself a very important growth opportunity to develop their individuality. The decision to close a middle school is a big and important decision. Please come and meet the students. And we're grateful that some of the board members have come visited our school in recent days. And I encourage all of the board members to come visit Sandpiper, maybe more than once. And when you visit, watch the kids during lunch and PE and see for yourself how special Sandpiper is. And then finally, having a variety of options in itself brings extra strengths to the district. Different students are best served by different environments, and I hope that you're able to develop a plan that would preserve the K-8 program at Sandpiper.
Hello again. We met last week. Thank you again for this opportunity, allowing us parents to speak. I am a mother of 3 children at Sandpiper. My daughter originally was at Redwood Shores Elementary. I had mentioned that we moved to this neighborhood specifically for the smaller middle school, and knowing that there's a real community feel, we're able to walk to school. Okay, so my point is, I don't think it should be Nesbit or Sandpiper. They are both amazing schools that serve unique communities. They're valued, they're gems. Really, it's not fair to the kids. It's not fair to the staff that work so hard. I'm sorry. We choose to live in this community, and I think that a lot of these families don't even know what's going on. The community doesn't know what's going on. Taxpayers paid for this, wanted this. The families, the neighborhoods want this. There are other solutions. You know, like you mentioned, we could merge. We could maybe, why are the families up there? They want some advanced classes. Maybe we could bring some of that down here. There's other ways to approach this than just shutting it down. And I just encourage you to do your due diligence and look at other options. Also, maybe the way we structure our enrollment, I know isn't ideal if you want to give everybody choice, but realistically, there has to be some changes. There's ways to boost enrollment aside from shutting and merging schools. Like, you know, this is an amazing community. I really hope that you guys see that. I hope you guys take some time to really think about the implications of closing one of these schools. And thank you for your time. Another point is, it's not necessarily a financial emergency, right? If it was, we would be more of, okay, something has to happen. Right now, it is not. You mentioned, the treasurer, that we will still be able to close the financial gap in year 29, 28, if we keep both schools open. So it's really, there's a lot to think about. So I urge you to please vote for option one, keep both schools open, and let's continue the discussion and involve all of the community rather than just some that are paying attention and like really perking up just now to what's happening. Thank you. Thank you, Sam.
Okay, next up we'll have Catherine Poschel and Margaret Watson, Erin and Emma Van Laar, and Anisha Romani.
Hello. Hello. My name is Catherine Poschel, and I've been a teacher at Sandpiper for 10 years, 9 years in second grade and 1 year in third grade. We're here tonight to share the profound impact that our middle school has had on the elementary students in our school community as a whole.
Hi, and I'm Margaret Watson. This is my 28th year at Sandpiper, teaching students from kindergarten to 4th grade. In my time, I've seen many changes in leadership, in teaching, and in extending our school to 8th grade, which I think has been a great thing. I've always been a proud member of our Sandpiper community, so teaching at a TK through 8 school gives elementary teachers something rare. We don't just teach children for the 1 year, we get to watch them grow into the amazing individuals you see them become. Those long-term relationships matter deeply to our students, our families, and to us as educators. Students at Sandpiper Middle School also get the rare opportunity to foster those relationships with each other, with their current and their former teachers in our smaller and supportive setting. So students are invited to build these relationships across the grades with our Stingray families, led by our 8th graders, which is an amazing program. I enjoy watching these families develop their new leaders and foster their relationships from TK up. Another powerful example of this is our buddy class program. Our middle school students regularly partner with the younger students for learning, leadership, and team building experiences. In these moments, the younger children don't just see older students, they see role models. And our middle schoolers don't just participate, they step into leadership, responsibility, and really become nurturers of our community. The impact goes beyond structured programs.
Because we are a TK to 8 school, our elementary students get to share the school day with their older siblings. I see the difference that this makes on a daily basis. On hard days, a student might get to catch their older sibling in 7th grade for a big hug and motivate them and to go through with the rest of the day. The pride that the older sibling says, yeah, that's my little sister, it's priceless. Not every school can offer that, and not every child gets that sense of belonging and continuity, but at Sandpiper they do. The sense of connection is also reflected in the adults who support our students and staff, especially having an assistant principal at Sandpiper. In addition to supporting Mrs. Higgins, we support all students across all grade levels, and the same for all staff. They know our kids, understand our families. She's a steady, trusted presence in our school. Losing her would not just be a staffing change, but it would be a loss felt throughout our entire school community. My first year teaching at Sandpiper was the last year that we were a kindergarten through 5th grade school, my first year teaching ever. I've watched our community grow alongside this TK to 8 model, and I truly cannot imagine Sandpiper without these 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students and staff members. They simply aren't an add-on to the elementary school, but they're part of the foundation of who we are. So thank you for giving us and the staff and community the opportunity to speak.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Aaron Van Laar, and this is my wife, Emma Van Laar. We are both teachers, coaches, and parents at Sandpiper. I want to start off by acknowledging that this has been a stressful few weeks for both Sandpiper and Nesbitt, for fear of losing the community we have worked so hard to build and create. We wanted to highlight the opportunities students at our middle school get through sports. As our athletic director, I know firsthand that at Sandpiper, students have the opportunity to play any sport we offer and are guaranteed playing time, which is not always the case at other schools. We work closely with Nesbitt in order to create teams if either one of our schools are unable to field an individual team. As coaches and teachers at a smaller middle school, we're able to create relationships and bonds that go beyond just the sports season. With that being said, I will now read a short letter from a Sandpiper graduate who is now a junior at Carmont. Sandpiper provided me with new opportunities and provided me with a great education. I was able to find my love of mathematics, and I was able to find my love for basketball. The teachers supported me in every way. To this day, I am still close with many of them. I believe it is wrong to take part of the Redwood Shores away. When I had moved to the Shores, I was uncertain about my own schooling situation, and Sandpiper became my community. For many others, it is the same case. We wish to keep the Shores community together, especially in the school system. If you take Sandpiper Middle School, you take more than just a school away. You take away a part of the community and you take away opportunities for future classes. Thank you, guys.
Good evening, members of the board and Dan. Hi, my name is Anisha Ramani. I'm the school counselor at Sandpiper, and I would like to highlight how integral Sandpiper Middle School is to the Redwood Shores neighborhood and to the students and families we serve. While our enrollment numbers may be smaller, our students benefit from an environment where they are truly known and supported. For many middle school students, especially those who are socially shy or need additional support, Sandpiper provides the setting that suits them best. It is a place where they can build confidence, strengthen social skills at a pace that works for them, and develop a genuine sense of belonging. Sandpiper is currently a TK through 8 campus and that continuity matters. Many of our middle school students do walk or bike to school, often alongside younger siblings on the same campus, and this creates a sense of familiarity, safety, and community that is rare. Students are able to grow alongside their neighbors, build lasting relationships, and remain connected to their local community both during and after school. I urge the board to consider not only enrollment numbers, but also real impact that closing the middle school portion of Sandpiper would have on the Redwood Shores community as a whole. Sandpiper is a valuable option within BRSSD because it provides stability, close adult support, and a school experience where students feel safe, seen, and connected. Thank you for your consideration.
Okay, next we'll have Layla Azur Al-Hassan, Boris Brumstein, and Ferris Al-Hassan.
Good evening. My name is Layla Özgür Al-Hassan. I have 2 kids at Redwood Shores Elementary, and I have 1 Sandpiper Middle Schooler. As a constituent homeowner and donor to BRSSD schools, I hope the board and superintendent will do research on the following and hold themselves accountable for this. Why should we take a drastic solution of closing a school? Has the board looked into understanding if access in terms of location is more important for lower income families? I would think that it is, since these families probably have less flexibility and less time to spend commuting to schools outside of their neighborhoods. How do students with IEPs, 504s, and English language learners benefit from smaller neighborhood middle schools? How important is the well-being of these students to the school board? What do voters think about closing a school that we voted to fund? How will this affect future votes for school funding? For children, what are the benefits of walking or biking to school? What are the benefits of having more sleep or more free time? What are the drawbacks of sitting in a car or bus for 2 hours a day? Is it reasonable, healthy, and necessary for kids to bear this burden? Has the board and superintendent done its utmost to understand how families choose their middle school? I have heard from Redwood Shores elementary parents that they chose Ralston because that's where their kids want to go, because that's where their friends are going. Should 11-year-olds choose what school they will go to? How can the board and superintendent teach parents who should make this decision and what criteria they should use? Don't all 3 middle schools use the same curriculum? Do parents know this and how important it is? I don't think this survey was weighted to account for the number of students per family. Was it? How do school assignment methods reflect priorities of the BRSSD Administrative Office? Why is school choice for Ralston given preference over school choice for Sandpiper or Nesbitt? What are the programs that we are not able to offer at small middle schools? Are these programs important enough to close a school? Are you also considering after-school programs that are offered and before school at Sandpiper and cost-efficiently done so with other grades? Why isn't Redwood Shores Elementary a feeder school for Sandpiper Middle School? How can it be made into one? What is an ideal middle school size? How do you decide that? What are the benefits of small class size for kids? What are the environmental and infrastructure impacts of closing one of these schools and forcing more people to commute by car or bus? Has there been an environmental report that was publicly shared? Finally, how will financial savings change given the larger proportion of kids with IEPs and ELL students at Sandpiper and Nesbitt Middle School? Thank you.
Good evening, board members and trustees. My name is Boris Brumstein. Since I last addressed you in my email, our petition to preserve Sandpiper has grown to over 250,000 signatures and continues to grow daily. This represents families deeply invested in our district and deeply concerned about the potential decision to close our school. The purpose and potential of small schools is different from large schools. Both small schools serve the geographic needs of their neighborhoods, and both show success. Some families choose Ralston for its extensive curriculum and offerings. Small schools can't compete with Ralston's on breadth, and that's okay. Small schools were built to cater to local needs and provide personalized education. Instead of closing one of the small schools to optimize capacity, I urge the board to reinforce your investment in small schools so that will develop signature programs in areas where they excel. I believe this will increase enrollment and even attract families who currently choose private schools. The geographic equity issue is critical. Closing Sandpiper forces every Redwood Shores family to commute across the district through a congested highway interchange during peak hours. What is currently a 5 to 10 minutes walk or bike becomes a long commute to Nesbitt or an hour-long commute to Ralston each way, a 2-hour daily burden. This directly impacts student well-being and educational opportunities. Students will lose independence. Families will lose 2 hours daily for homework and activities, and students will experience increased stress and fatigue. Your own survey shows transportation is a significant concern. The board stated ease of access for relevant students as critical decision driver. Closing Sandpiper directly contradicts this commitment. The survey data provides insight into families' voice. Your survey identified strong teacher relationship, community belonging, safety, and geographic accessibility as top priorities. Both schools deliver these outcomes. The survey showed our community values having both traditional and experiential models. Among families preferring small schools, twice as many prefer Sandpiper over Nesbitt. That does not detract from Nesbitt's value. It shows both schools are valuable and deliver what they were built for, and Sandpiper's added values address all priorities. With the special values in accessibility and experiential teaching models. I ask you to make decisions grounded in your findings. Preserve multiple education models, maintain geographic equity, honor the community voice, and consider investment in differentiation rather than closure as your path forward. Our community stands strong, over 250,000 signatures and growing. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Faisal Hassan. I'm Layla Oscar Hassan's husband, and I'm also a parent of Sandpiper Middle Schooler and 2 Redwood Shores students. I appreciate you providing these forms for us and listening and be patient listening to what we're sharing. A key takeaway in the demographic report that I believe hasn't gotten enough attention is that predicted drop in the enrollment from 2025 to 2030 is not equally distributed in the district. In fact, if you look at the numbers, in the southwest regions west of El Camino Real, which represent the majority of the drop across the district, with 80% of the TK through 8 students west of the Camino, that's where the drop is happening, according to the demographic report. If you just look at the region closest to Ralston Middle School, west of Alameda de las Pulgas, that's 64% alone of the drop. And I want to quote what the demographic found, which I found is very insightful, is what's going on. It is worth noting, however, that the K-2 reduction since 2016 in these more expensive homes, this is referring to the area near Ralston, is by a significant 176 students, minus 35% not shown on the table, with fewer students in all but one subsequent year from 2016 to 2025. There are also far more students now in grades 6 through 8 than in grades K through 2 in these homes. So significant further K through 8 decline is a near certainty in the next 3 years. These more expensive homes are concentrated in the west end of the district and currently provide 31% of the district students. So that was from the report. I'm concerned that in our planning of the options, we are taking a short-term view of what is happening, which is that basically the centroid of the district, the student population is shifting northeast towards Nesbit and towards Sandpiper. Even though there are drops other areas of the region, but that's the overall center is shifting. And so the reason I mentioned this is Ralston used to be bigger as well. And so you might think, oh, they can handle the traffic because we used to have it. But what looks like is happening is that because the Ralston population is dropping, there'll be more people commuting over the next 5 years. Again, the report says, we're looking at 80% of the drop that we're seeing is going to be in that region. And so I'm concerned about traffic getting worse and worse. And then also that, and then it's apparently even right now, if you want to pick up your child, this is what I've heard, you have to come an hour early before the pickup so you can get a parking space. So right now it's already pretty bad. And I don't know, and whatever solution we have can be better, I think. And so, with the AI boom happening and tech workers also being forced to move back in office, I'm concerned that we'll have to have these conversations again in a few years, providing equal access to middle schools, and where the main middle school is set in the region with the most expensive homes and the largest decline in the BRST eligible students. Thank you very much.
Next, if we can have Brian Zabel, Raymond Jin, and Alexei Chisakov.
Hello, I'm Brian Zabel, parent of Kendall Zabel, who's in Miss Powers' class, 5th grade here at Sandpiper, and Maddie Zabel, who went to Sandpiper K through 8th and is a 9th grader at Carlmont and has a JV basketball game tonight and couldn't be here. I have some comments from both of the kids. First of all, from Kendall. This is from Kendall. She texted this to me and asked me to please present this. So 11-year-old Kendall says, I want to go to Sandpiper Middle School like my sister got to. Overall, it's a great school and much closer to my house than Ralston or Nesbit. I really like the middle school teachers that I've met through Sandpiper family activities and my sister telling me about them. And I'm excited to play volleyball and basketball there. At Ralston, not everybody gets to make the teams like at Sandpiper. Okay, so echoing what Coach Aaron was saying. And we're very proud of the Nez Pipers, or the Puma Rays, as we call the combined team. Yeah, go Puma Rays. Okay, now from Maddie, a freshman at Carlmont High School. So I'm a freshman at Carlmont High School. I attended Sandpiper from kindergarten to 8th grade and had an amazing experience. During middle school, I participated in volleyball, basketball, and the theater program. I was able to make many new friends at the start of 6th grade at Sandpiper Middle because of the smaller grade size and positive class atmosphere. My teachers in middle school also had a very positive impact on my life. Due to the class sizes, they were able to connect with each student. Sandpiper also prepared me and my classmates well academically. Like most of my Sandpiper algebra class are taking Algebra 2 and Trig class at Carlmont and excelling. Between trimesters, we had intersessions where we could explore different interests like moot court, public speaking, and Japanese art and culture. One class during intersessions that I really enjoyed was forensic science. This class helped me learn more about myself and gave me hints on some possible careers for later in my life. This school has a big impact on my life, so please keep Sandpiper Middle School open. Thank you, Maddie. I don't know. I've heard a lot tonight. I've heard very little compelling information that we need to close either of the schools, the middle schools. It doesn't seem that complicated. It's a great school, great teachers, great programs, great extracurriculars. So great community. It's close by. It just doesn't seem that complicated. So let's just keep it open. Okay. Thank you.
Good evening, President, board members, and superintendent. My name is Raymond, and I'm a student at Sandpiper Middle School. I'm here tonight to talk about the proposal to close Sandpiper and Nesbit Middle School. I want to be fair, look at both sides, but I'm asking you to keep our schools open. I understand why the district is thinking about this. Enrollment's down, the budget is tight, keeping a school open costs money. And if there aren't enough students to fill the seats, I get why that looks like a problem. Combining schools can mean spending less on buildings, utilities, and staff. On paper, it might seem like a smart financial move, but I don't think the savings are as big as they look. If you close Sandpiper or Nesbit, all those students have to go somewhere else. That means other schools get more crowded. When you pack more kids into a classroom, teachers have less time for each of us. That makes it harder to learn. It is also harder for teachers, and some of them might burn out or leave. Speaking of teachers, what happens to them? What happens to them if you close our schools? Some might transfer, but others might decide it's not worth it, leave the district completely. These are people who know the students and know how to teach. Losing them hurts everyone. There's also transportation. Right now, Sandpiper serves Rose City/Rose Shores, and Nesbit serves Belmont. Kids live near these schools. If you close them, students have to travel farther. That means more buses, longer rides, and less time at home. That costs money too, and could make life much harder for families. And here's something that doesn't show up on go to these areas knowing their kids could walk to school or be close by. When you shut down a neighborhood school, you're not just closing a building, you're changing the whole feel of that community. I know keeping schools open isn't free, but closing them isn't free either. You have to merge students, move equipment, and figure out where everyone goes. Some families might even leave the district completely because they're unhappy. That means even less enrollment, less funding down the road. We are taught in school every day to face challenges, not run away from them. We learn math not by avoiding the hard equations, but by figuring out the steps to solve them. We win soccer tournaments not by dodging the toughest opponents, but by practicing harder and giving our 100% in games. You teach us to be leaders, to be bold and brave. I urge you to approach the enrollment and budget challenges the same way you teach us, by providing better education and overcoming the challenges, and not by simply running away and closing schools. Let's look at how we can make our schools so excellent that more families choose to enroll. Let's invest in programs that make Sandpiper and Nesbit the first choice for every middle school student in Rose City and Belmont. When we raise the level of education we offer, enrollment will follow, and the budget problem will take care of itself. So yes, there are reasons to consider closing schools, but I think the reasons to keep them open are stronger. Sandpiper and Nesbit are both doing their jobs. Students are learning, teachers are teaching, communities are being served. That's not broken. Please don't try to fix it. Thank you for listening.
Hi everyone, my name is Marina and I'm mother of 7th grader, and he also wanted to be here today, but he's sick unfortunately. So we will represent him, and I just want to share a few things. If our school didn't have a middle school, my younger son would probably never have started biking to school on his own, because he was afraid, and his older brother helped him overcome this fear. And this is just only one example how elementary and middle school together benefit siblings. if our school will be closed, my older son will spend about 2 hours in YouTube watching stupid videos while he will drive to on a bus. Yeah, and I'm sure this will be good for his mental and physical health. And instead of this, now he has bike into school, getting fresh air, and just have some physical activity before he has classes and after school too. And he has opportunity to hang out with his friends. Even now, starting in Sandpiper, he has struggles with time management between school activities, his hobbies, sports, and so on. And if he will spend 2 hours per day to drive to another school, I think he will just limit his rest or his time with his friends.
Thank you. It's a very emotional moment for us because we both believe it's both life-changing, and we also hope our voices will be heard. So we are the Chirikov's family. We are proud parents of the 7th grader Andrei and 2nd grader Sasha. And maybe just to add to the previous speakers, I think, and I would really want the board and superintendent to consider that this decision is not to be rushed, because, and we are here not advocating for closing either of the schools. We believe it should not be even an option. Both schools should stay because we are all one big community. Ralston, Nesbit, and Sandpiper. And if closing either of the school will be both inequitable and not fair, because it will be a disproportionate burden and disproportionate cost for the impacted families. And if it's the cost, it has to be shared among families of all 3 schools. All 3 schools should stay within the district. And we are incredibly grateful for the work done by the district and by the teachers of Sandpiper. So that's an opportunity for me to thank. Thank you very much. Yeah. And maybe a couple of more thoughts. I mean, there are so many things in life you cannot attach a price tag to. And like, I think closing either of the school, we will lose those intangibles forever. For the community of that school, for the parents, for the kids, and that decision, that option shouldn't be on the table. And the last but not least, we are coming from the country where short-term cost-saving reductions make public goods and school system less affordable. And this is what negatively impacted demographics and not vice versa. If you close the school, there will be less kids in this community. So the demographics will be even worse. Thank you so much. Yeah. We respectfully ask the board and superintendent to consider other than closing either of the school's options. Thank you.
Okay, next up, can we have Cindy Shea, Langley Pylan, and Easton Pylan?
Hello, trustees, board members, and superintendent. I am Cindy Shea, parent of a 5th grader who will love to attend Sandpiper Middle School. As an active school volunteer and coordinator of for numerous years, I see firsthand how the middle school teachers and students support our elementary students. For example, at Halloween, students play different roles ranging from doting big brothers, loving big sisters, taking their TK and K buddies around to actual carnival station managers that manages games for the entire elementary school, 400 plus kids. While at the same time, the journalism students go around taking photos, conduct interviews, and take their club duties seriously. The middle school students provide a role that is seamlessly integrated with our elementary school and fosters community bonding. As you're aware, Sandpiper Middle School models after the highly acclaimed Nueva School with emphasis on design thinking and social emotional learning. The skill set acquired from Sandpiper is learning with emphasis on strong executive functioning, which is incorporated as part of the weekly lesson plan. These are the different attributes that our school provides, unlike the typical public high school. Given there was previous confirmation that budget gap can close without shutting down any school, there's significant concerns that the decision may be rushed. Neighbors in the neighborhood are not aware. We do have about 5,000 home units with condos, townhomes, and homes, and a big portion are not aware of this alignment. It would be great if you guys can think of alternatives and come up with a solution that works for the neighborhood. With that said, you can bet because of this, parents of both Nesbitt and Sandpiper are giving input to respective schools. Instead of hastily choosing to close one, why don't we take this opportunity to enhance both schools' programs, collaborate with school district, parents, and teachers, and make both schools the desired choice for many families for years to come. Let Nesbitt and Sandpiper be the gems of the neighborhood. And please, let our students shine at the school where they belong. Thank you.
Good evening, board members and superintendent. Thank you for listening tonight. I am Langley Pyland, a current 8th grader at Sandpiper Middle School. I have two brothers in 1st and 6th grade here at Sandpiper, and we have all been here since kindergarten. My memories go even farther back than that, though. I remember as a little kid, vaguely, but I do remember, not even in school yet, watching what are currently the kindergarten classrooms being lifted into place by a crane. As part of our middle school, I participated in 2 musicals, soon to be 3 with our upcoming production of The Lion King, and played 3 years of volleyball and basketball with the school. One thing my family has loved so much about Sandpiper is its excellent community. In my 6th grade year, there was an immense influx of new students coming from private schools, other states, or even other countries. Many of these students, having only heard about Ralston, wanted to transfer there before even attending their first day at Sandpiper. Multiple people had originally mentioned this, but as time went on, I can only recall one person actually following through with this plan. I recently sent out a survey to discover who else this situation applied to. Of the 50 plus Sandpiper students who responded to this survey, a third of the students had originally intended to transfer out to Ralston, but chose not to because they were so immensely happy at Sandpiper, particularly with the great friendships, student-teacher relationships, and school-wide community. A great example of our strong community, 7th grade teachers, Miss Bjorkquist, who retired last year after working in the BRSSD district for over 30 years. So believe me, a well-deserved retirement. She not only promised us, her last class on the last day of school, that she would come back and sub for our class, but she attended a student volleyball game out of retirement this year because of the great connections she had made with the students and wanted to come back to support them. I've also made many friends in a variety of grades thanks to theater experience, my little brothers, and most importantly, our Stingray families. This year, I was given the amazing opportunity, along with my class of 8th graders, to lead the Stingray families, which not only supported our great community, but provided great leadership opportunities for all of us as well. I attended almost the entire board meeting at Nesbitt Middle School about 2 weeks ago. I could clearly hear the love each student, teacher, and parent
had for their community and school. To me, these are two amazing, beloved schools and communities. To close one of these middle schools would be devastating for the current middle school students, as well as all the students that plan to go there in the future, including my first grade brother. So please, don't rush this decision. With more time, we can come up with a solution that works for everyone. Thank you. Hello, I'm Easton. I'm in sixth grade at Sandpiper Middle School, and I've gone here since kindergarten. In fifth grade, I was the only person in my class not wanting to go to Ralston. I mainly chose Sandpiper over other middle schools because I'm able to bike to school. For my friends who live in Redwood Shores and go to Ralston, it adds 2 hours to their day to get there and come back. With all the sports I do, 2 hours extra in the day means I would have no time for my homework. I know I made the right decision because once I got to Sandpiper, I not only found out that many other kids at Sandpiper were biking to school, but I also learned some things that made Sandpiper special. Everyone there is inviting, and the teachers and staff know the kids by name. The whole school is connected. I talked to people in the grade above me, the grade below me, 2 grades below me, and I know my brother's friends in first grade and a whole TK buddy class. Thanks to Sandpiper's no-cut policy, I was able to try out for basketball for the very first time, whereas at bigger schools, I wouldn't get that opportunity. This was very good for me because it helped me try out a new sport and have a lot of fun. I've been able to take full advantage of all the things Sandpiper has to offer. One example is that for my Quest Time project, I was able to write an original guitar song. This is something you wouldn't normally do in school. Another unique thing about Sandpiper is the amazing electives. I'm signed up to do culinary arts and I'm currently taking digital media. Closing the Sandpiper Middle School would stop me and my classmates and future students from experiencing these wonderful things. Please reconsider making any changes to the middle schools for the 2026 to 2027 school year. Thank you.
All right, next we have Thea Young, Sohini Kachi, and Daphne Lee.
Hello, my name is Thea Young, and some things I love about Sandpiper. I love the neighborhood school and how it's so close to where I live. I love the community and how I made many friends at Sandpiper. Some of the things that I enjoyed also during my middle school years is the elective and intersessions. I'm currently taking Japanese art and culture, and I took textile designs last trimester. I loved also the elective, the intersessions that they offered. La- um, Last one, I took polymer clay and I forgot the other one. But some reasons that I think we shouldn't shut down Sandpiper is because it would be an inconvenience to the middle schoolers to not have a school near them, since most schoolers that attend Sandpiper live in Redwood Shores, and they wouldn't have a school close to them. Having having us go up and down Ralston would be an inconvenience for some people when they live here, since traffic is rough in the mornings, and plus for people who might have to take the bus in the morning, I have heard that some dangerous things could happen there. The last that I heard, that fights have been broken out and they've been pulled over by the police. Okay, thank you.
Good evening. My name is Sohini Kachi. I've been a resident of Redwood Shores for over 20 years. I grew up here when Nesbitt was the only school of choice, the only public school of choice for elementary kids. And Ralston was the only school, the middle school choice for Redwood Shores residents. My husband and I made an active choice. Our son, who is now currently in sixth grade, attended Fox Elementary School. Nearly everyone in his school was going to attend Ralston purely due to the proximity to their home, being a neighborhood school. We made an active choice. I like to highlight the word choice to not attend Ralston. With an attendance of over 1,100 students, with a population that massive, we made a choice for our son to attend a school that was a middle school, not a population that was pushing him to experience population sizes the size of a high school, if not a small private college in some states. This news, as you have seen from everyone standing here today on the phones and from letters and emails, has completely blindsided us. This news has come up so fast and so few people are aware of it, even today. There really hasn't been communication to the community at all. There also doesn't seem to be much transparency in the urgency. It looks like the budget deficit is closing in a few years with or without these changes. This doesn't seem like a crisis yet. Yet this decision is getting pushed very quickly as if we are in one. Please, let's take this time to really review this. We all, as you have seen from everyone's arguments here and discussions, that we really need to understand what is going on and put a lot of thought into this before a decision is made. That is irreversible. It took decades to create Sandpiper in this community, but what seems to now take just a couple of months to destroy it down. As I've said, this decision to close either school is irreversible. I am still, and I can probably stand here before everyone else and say that we are probably still very unclear why things are moving so fast. I do understand that there was discussions about this for the last several years that I just learned today. However, no one here seems to have known about those discussions for the last several years. So with that being said, I ask for the people that we elected to work with us, not against us. You have a team of very intelligent, motivated, and ambitious people that want to work with you as a team. We all felt that we would be a team with you up until the last couple months when this news came as a complete shock. So with that being said, I ask elected officials that the community has put forth their votes and trust in you. Please let us work with us. You have heard from very intelligent people and more people that want to make this a better community. We also want to optimize the population for all the schools. We understand that there are hard decisions that need to be made, but this does not need to be one of them, and especially not one for this year. So please listen to us, work with us, and let us help you help save Sandpiper. Thank you.
Good evening. Thank you to the board and Dan for being here and creating the space to listen to our community. My name is Daphne Lee. I have two boys at Sandpiper, 1st and 4th grade, and I'm currently serving as the PTA president. I'm here tonight to share some observation of our unique middle school environment and to show support to the family and staff who are navigating these potential changes. While discussing number and enrollment, I want to highlight the human elements of the Sandpiper Middle School experiences. For many of our families, the small school environment is a deliberate choice. It provides a sense of belonging, a tight-knit community that helps certain students thrive during these transitional years. This environment will build lasting bonds between students and staff, ensuring that every child receives the individual attention and support they need to succeed. This sense of a community is anchored in our school-wide program. Through Stingray Families, we foster cross-grade connections so that every student feels seen and known. These groups allow students to collaborate, problem solve, and experience the value of being a part of a team. Furthermore, the buddy system of our school that Ms. Watson mentioned is a vital part of our Stingray culture. Seeing our middle school Work alongside the younger grade is incredible. It gives the older students genuine opportunity to practice leadership and mentorship while showing our younger students what it looks like to work together as one community. I also want to specifically highlight the incredible work that Ms. Baldonado has created for 7th grade with a special day class through the All-In programs. Having seen this program firsthand, it is moving to witness the intention and heart that these students put in building a connection with their peers. This collaboration fosters a profound level of empathy and inclusivity, which are values that we need more in today's world. This is an example of the compassion that flourishes when students have opportunity to support one another in a smaller setting. As you weigh the different scenarios for middle school alignment, I ask that you consider these values that the students are learning and the impact of our students' development. We hope you will take these observations and the spirit of our community into account as we move forward with your decision. Thank you for your time and for your attention.
Okay, next we have Asif Shelch. Sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Lyra and Leo Bloom, Joshua Bloom, and Lily Pan.
Good evening. My name is Asif. Currently my son goes to 6th grade here at Sandpiper. He's with Miss Beret's class. I want to say that I agree with many of the things that others have already said, and I want to reiterate the point repeatedly made here tonight that you are making a hasty decision without fully understanding parent and community preferences. For us parents, it is too quick a decision for us to evaluate our options if something like a closure of our current school happens. Something about me and my family, we are a new family for the current academic year. Since we live in Belmont, our first preference for our new 6th grader was Ralston. However, as it turned out, he was placed at Sandpiper. At first, we were a little apprehensive because we didn't get our first preference. Nevertheless, as the year progressed, we came to love Sandpiper School and the teachers here. The academics and extracurriculars are strong. Our son is in the robotics team and is enrolled in world languages. We are very happy with the teachers and our son is performing very well here. To know that this can be disrupted due to Sandpiper's potential closing is very disheartening. We fear that not enough time and attention is being paid to come to a decision. We strongly urge the board to take its time. You should do more work on finding out parents' preferences. We fear that the decision is being made too quickly and putting parents in a tough bind. We are afraid that our preference, once again, is not being considered. Sandpiper has a strong reputation in the community and, as we know, a great social and learning environment. If the board does not consider and pay attention to parents' preferences, more and more families will move out of the district, which will in turn further decline enrollment. Lastly, I'd just like to say you should prioritize parent choice and preference over everything else. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Leo Bloom, and I am in 6th grade at Sandpiper Middle School. I like to call my Sandpiper my home away from home. It has and will be shaping my life in a very positive way. Sandpiper is a huge chunk of my personality, and without it, I would change significantly. Sandpiper is an inspiring place to learn, to make connections with friends, and overall is a very happy place for me and other students. If Sandpiper was taken away from me, it would be a massive change in my life and would greatly impact not only me, but many other students, parents, and staff members. I would have to say goodbye to all my friends and all the great teachers at the school, and to the many fond memories that I've had at Sandpiper Middle.
I respectfully ask for you to keep this wonderful school open, not only for me, but for a community. If you close Sandpiper, you're not only closing a school, but you're also closing a community. Hello, esteemed board members and superintendent. My name is Lyra, and I have been at Sandpiper School for 9 years now. And I just wanted to continue on with what my brother was saying, and as he shared his experience from the incoming sixth graders, I want to share my experience as an outgoing eighth grader. When I started at Sandpiper Middle School, I'd like to think I was like a blank white piece of A4 printer paper. Now, I know that doesn't make much sense, but hear me out. In my time here, I've seen this paper fill with color as I've grown as both a learner and a person. The lessons I've learned through unique experiences like design thinking, quest time, and Sandpiper families have contributed to this. Not only that, but the large, supportive, and tight-knit community of friends I have, fondly nicknamed the Friendship Tree by the parents and students over here, I have made these colors even brighter, as I see my relationships and social skills being enhanced. The small school environment has fostered this and helped the grade as a whole bond as well. Not to mention the amazing teachers who have made my growth even more fun. Overall, my experience at Sandpiper Middle School is one I could not have anyway, and I'm grateful to have this great middle school community here for me and my family. I hope that you take me and my brother's experiences into consideration when making your decision. Thank you.
Thank you. Good to see you all again. And now you've met two of my three children in Sandpiper. I've been a resident of Redwood Shores for 15 years, and I just wanted to start by sharing two observations from the last two board meetings, really. Not to belabor the point, but as a board, you do not need to close a school to close the budget gap. This is a choice, and we elected you all to advocate for the children of this community, not to eke out a few extra dollars like this is a for-profit enterprise reporting quarterly earnings. Being on the school board is difficult. You all have day jobs, I'm sure. You're all professionals in your own right, but this is an entirely different setting with an entirely different set of stakeholders and priorities. And really listening to the children of this room is really what I would ask you to do. Second, what we learned in the last board meeting was, although closing either middle school will affect over 100 families whose first choice was a neighborhood school, contrary to urban myths, there are less than 20 students, maybe what we heard, on the wait list for Ralston. These figures underscore that on balance, closing a school would actually be a huge step back for school choice, not some backwards, twisted way of improving school choice in the district. But putting counting statistics aside, I would also ask the board to think about the discrepancy in equity in asking some residents to attend their neighborhood school where they chose to live versus the alternative of telling other residents they can't attend a neighborhood school where they chose to live. These harms are not equal. While this process is difficult for all involved, I just want to stress it really is the credibility of the district at stake here. For the long term, not just the ability to manage taxpayer-funded initiatives, but the overall concept of the Union of Belmont and Redwood Shores as a school district. If we really get through this process, and after these listening sessions, the outcome is still somehow that we need to close Sandpiper, I think it's fair for Redwood Shores residents to be within their rights to ask if they're being effectively served by a long-term school district union with Belmont. In conclusion, our proposal to the board is to really shelve unnecessary drastic measures and instead focus the professional educators in this room, the professionals, the people who dedicated their lives to helping children's education, to creating more amazing educational opportunities for the students here at Sandpiper and all of the schools in the Belmont-Redwood Shores School District. And I would just encourage everybody to listen to the students who, in some minor miracle, actually enjoy middle school. And they enjoy it here at Sandpiper. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone.
I'm a parent of two Sandpiper students, and I just wanted to appreciate you all for making this space for us to make our voices heard tonight. Good job making it this far. I wanted to offer some considerations as you approach the decision-making and issue at hand. I really believe that we need more due diligence and further validation done in two areas. And the first area is the drivers of declining enrollment. Do we really have the whole story on the drivers of declining enrollment here? Sure, we're talking about birth rates, right? Demand. I'm not sure we have done that sufficient due diligence when we're examining, can we examine whether these two special unique schools have been adequately promoted, differentiated, or positioned to attract families before concluding that demand is not good. And the potential of Sandpiper reminds me of this following parable. A farmer plants a new seed and checks the field the next morning. Seeing no sprouts, he digs it up and declares the seed defective. He never watered it, never protected it from birds, and never waited long enough for it to grow. So let's give our seed a chance to grow here in the shores. Second, the second area I like to kindly request more due diligence on is the possible drivers of growth for enrollment. I believe that the question before us is not which school should we close, but rather have we exhausted all possible strategies to grow enrollment before making what feels like an irreversible decision? Which then leads me to the question, is this even the right set of options? So, as you know, Sandpiper is a design thinking school. In the spirit of design thinking, I propose that we reframe this challenge into an opportunity and design around a new problem statement of how might we drive healthy enrollment for our schools and create a sustainable, thriving community. And it's something that is going to be ideated on not just by one party, but across all stakeholders, across parents, teachers, students, staff. And who knows, this might lead us to a different set of options. So in conclusion, I believe that what stands before us is a test of our BRSSD strategy framework. One out of the 4 prongs is to promote community engagement. And in its own words, to foster effective partnerships with families, communities, organizations, and educational institutions for the continued support of our students and schools. So let's walk the talk and let's put this into practice. I firmly believe that there is nothing we can't solve when we put our heads together. Thank you.
Okay, if we can get Monique Bloom, Jaime Young, Jamie Young, and Anand Kapoor.
I promise this is the last Bloom you will hear from. I will not inflict the third grader or the dogs on you. My point is somewhat boring, but it's an important point. And it's not about resisting change. It's not about protecting one school over the other. It is about whether our approach to this question has been legally and procedurally adequate. From what we have heard, there are still some serious open questions. First, the decision framework is unclear. We have not heard what the objective decision criteria are or how those criteria will be weighted. Without clear standards, any final decision risks appearing arbitrary or predetermined. Second, the district and the board are public entities. Town halls and surveys are not a substitute for properly noticed formal public hearings, which are tied directly to the potential closure. Simply telling the public that this has been internally discussed at the district level previously is simply not legally or procedurally sufficient and may even trigger Brown Act problems. Third, we have not seen a robust side-by-side comparison of options that includes detailed financial modeling, education and programmatic impacts, long-term implications for receiving schools. The district has to show that reasonable alternatives was seriously evaluated in good faith and documented. The board deserves this information. Fourth, equity is a guiding value for the district. If one geographic community, Redwood Shores, bears the burden of closure while others do not, the district must be able to show why that outcome is equitable and unavoidable. Fifth, we need to see a clear public plan for considerations such as special education services, the increased burden on public transportation, and CEQA review. The board and the public are entitled to this information in a full and detailed way. The reason I bring this up is that the district may be aware that there is currently an action pending in San Mateo County against the school district for closing down 2 schools in that district. We should take the action and community input required to make sure our process is data-driven, comprehensive, transparent, has taken the time needed, and above all, is fair. Thank you for your time.
Hello, Board of Trustees. I was here, well, at the office last week, and I want to make this short. A little bit more aspirational in effect than others, but I think what I've seen today is just an amazing turnout, both of students, parents, but also really clearly graduates of Sandpiper. It is amazing to see them, and I'm proud, and it makes me tear up just to hear how well spoken they are. This is our future. So the aspiration, while it might be a little cliche, is that we need to help our children rise to the potential because they are our future leaders. It is really important that they have these skills in these types of environments to truly thrive. And Sandpiper and Nesbitt and Ralston gives us those opportunities. So like a lot of the things that you've heard, it isn't one versus the other. It's not option 2 or option 3. Please consider and reconsider thoroughly all the things that you have on the table. So in the time being, option 1 of status quo is truly, I think, the most viable for now until you have had more time with us to be able to go through this decision process. While I also said that my theme is about the future, think about the future of the current workforce, even though that might not be in your scope of terms. But there is an influx, even those the demographic reports may not reflect that, but those are the future as well while jobs are still growing in this area. This makes this a very attractive area to still be in, and potentially for them to also have children and consider this a school district of choice. Think of also the future of the environment impact. The city of Belmont has not been able to determine and solve the Ralston thoroughfare. It is continuously bogged down and it continues to strain the community. More buses are not the solution. More time commuting is not the solution either. Lastly, again, stability for our future is critical. And so this environment has allowed our children to achieve that and to have this safety place for them to learn and to grow. So thank you for your consideration. And I hope that we can hear out your deliberations in February.
Anand Kapoor, are you still here? Right, we'll move on. Can we get Michelle Wobbles, Noah, and Samyak up?
Hi everyone, my name is Michelle. I'm a proud parent of 2 Sandpiper Middle School students. One is in the 8th grade and the other one is in the 6th grade. So we moved here 8 years ago when my older one was ready to start 1st grade. Yes, we bought our property because of the school. One of the main reasons that we chose Redwood Shores over Belmont or St. Carlos was the K-8 school system. It was not started at that time, but we know that it will happen. So since we not live here during the kindergarten, our older one was originally assigned to Nesbitt because Sandpiper didn't have a space for him. We were very concerned about the traffic and the lack of Redwood Shores community network. So I worked very hard to apply for a transfer. Fortunately, he was reassigned to Sandpiper before the school started. After all these years, we truly believe that our decision and the effort we made at that time was absolutely the right one. Both our children have thrived academically and socially. When our older son had the opportunity to attend other prominent private schools before the 6th grade, he chose to stay. And it is because of the friendship. Yes, I know a lot of people went to Ralston because of friendship, but my child stayed here because of friendship. And also because of the teacher, the safe community, and the design thinking program offered to Sandpiper, which he was eager to continue. As a product designer myself, I'm deeply impressed by Sandpiper's design thinking program. It teaches children how to solve human-centered problems using technology. Given that we live in Silicon Valley, these skills are absolutely benefit them throughout their lives. Now that my older one is graduating from 8th grade, he's more than ready for high school. And because of the positive experience our older son had, our younger one also chose to stay in Sandpiper. However, he would be directly impacted by the potential closure of the school. So my entire family would be extremely disappointed if this were to become a reality. While I understand that the district has its justification, I sincerely hope that the district and the board will allow more time to truly evaluate the pros and cons and to make the right decision to everyone. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Samyak. I'm an 8th grader. I'm gonna graduate this year. And if I was any other 8th grader in any other middle school and it was closing, to be honest, I couldn't care less. I'm graduating. I'm going to high school next year. But this Sandpiper we're talking about, and these last 3 years in middle school have been like really mind-blowing because you get so many opportunities here, and I've made really close relationships with both the teachers and all my fellow classmates. It's like really tight-knit, and all of the classes that I took over the years have been like a very unique experience, and like I said, so many opportunities. Like there's quest time and study hall. There's all types of opportunities, but you have to take the biggest one out of them all, and that is to join the school in the first place. And if people actually do that, they'll understand that deep inside that Sandpiper is actually a really great school. You learn way more than you would at other schools, and I'm really proud to have made the decision to go to the school. Thank you. Oh, one more thing. My bad. I wouldn't be up here and talking about this if it weren't for my 7th grade teacher, Miss Bjorkquist, who taught me how to do arguments and stuff. So it's for you.
Hi, my name is Noah San Juan, and I'm in 4th grade at Sandpiper Elementary. My brothers are in 7th and 8th grade at Sandpiper. I want to keep the Sandpiper Middle School open because I want to have the same opportunities as my brothers have. The teachers are kind and help me through challenges. My brothers their friends are hardworking and talented.
All right, and for our last round of speakers, can we have Leo Chang, Herman Young, and Madison Reichen?
Good evening, board. My name is Leo Chang. I'm a parent to 2 Sandpiper students. Thank you for your public service to our community. Community, that's the key word you heard over and over tonight. Community is medicine, community is home, our community is here. We do not deny that there are real issues with enrollment, with utilization, and financials. We ask to solve that together as one community, with each other, not against each other. We do not deny that your jobs are really, really, really hard amongst really hard choices. We ask to find new choices together as one community with each other, not against each other. Others more eloquent than I have cited this inexplicable rush as if we were in a crisis when we are not. If there are real reasons, please share them with us. If this were two patients coming into a hospital showing some real symptoms, but nowhere near critical, how can we decide that we don't have the time to properly treat and diagnose and treat and simply decide that we must pull the plug on one of them when they're not even on life support? Years from now, when you're at the end of your terms, or even decades from now at the end of your careers in your retirement, reflecting back at your time in this entrusted seat, will you take pride in hitting a utilization percentage on a spreadsheet that's long lost, or saved X dollars or closed some gap on numbers you probably won't remember by then? Or do you want to remember that you spent your time in this esteemed seat of yours, furthering and enriching a vibrant, passionate, loving community that you see here tonight? I hope tonight has shown you that we are more than numbers on a spreadsheet or figures on a table on a slide. We are living, breathing families and communities with real stories, deep bonds, and love. Our community's future and our children's lifelong memories are in your hands.
Hi, I'm Maddie. I'm in 8th grade, so this doesn't really affect me. But I didn't think I'd be up here tonight because honestly, this is scary talking in front of everybody. But I wanted to be because I feel so bad for all of our 6th and 7th graders. Because they're starting this year with such amazing teachers and they don't get to finish their entire middle school experience. Everything was so amazing for us, and I just can't believe that I got to be a part of this community. I mean, look at this. We have been with each other since 6th grade, and honestly, we always make room for each other. We even squeezed in along this row, even though there's not enough seats. I know what it's like to leave schools. I was actually put in Nesbit first when I came here in 5th grade, and it wasn't a good fit for me. I just didn't really fit in there. But when I came here, I had such a great community, and I can't believe that I get to be a part of this because this is so amazing. I've gone to so many different schools, and I've got to say, nothing compares to this.
Thank you, board members. I was up here last week. I think the group has grown quite a bit. Thank you, everyone, for showing up here. I'm a big community person. I won't be long. I'm a big community person. This is my daughter's friend group here. They'll be together for the rest of their lives. One thing that I kind of wanted to point out was the bus. I know that a lot of people have talked about Samtrans offering a lot of different services and whatnot. And whatnot. I was a bused-in kid. I took Samtrans for 5 years. I went to Burrell and Aragon. There's a lot of things that go on with that bus. I don't know if you guys are aware of the incidents that happened on the bus. I think that's not a good formative years for these kids to be exposed to something like that. I didn't hear that being talked about, so I thought I'd kind of put that out there. That there's a ton of stuff that goes on that bus, and I think that it'll be a waste of these students' time to be exposed to that type of environment. That's all I have. Thank you.
President Casas are all the speakers for tonight.
There we go. Okay. So again, just to conclude the public comment part, thank you for everyone who shares tonight. We do appreciate your time, perspective, and engagement. Clearly, you're passionate about your school, as we are, and we want to make sure that the decision we make next month is the most informed, and this has helped with that informed decision making. So with that, I'd like to open it up to the board for a discussion. You know, this is our opportunity as well, together, to be able to take it where we wanted to do before our deliberation in February at our regular board meeting. I'm kind of opening this up now to a discussion or anything that we would like to raise at this time. If there is, go ahead, Jim.
Hello.
Hello. Ooh. The power button, guys. So first off, I want to really, truly, sincerely thank our entire community and all of you for speaking tonight and acknowledge how difficult this topic is. It's deeply personal, and it affects families, students, and our staff. I don't think we've talked about our staff enough in very, very real way. Tonight we heard your fears, frustration, pride, and deep care that we have for our schools and our students. And I just wanted to say that we respect the voices that have shared here tonight and the courage it takes to speak on an issue that matters so deeply to all of us. Thank you again for the care and the thought that you put in to the comments tonight. And I know that we as a board, we will be taking a lot of, or we'll take everything that we've heard with us into our board discussion. I did have a question for Suzanne that I wrote down. Historically, how much does our enrollment go up and down? Right? I know there are dips and surges in enrollments based on, you know, families moving in and out and neighborhoods changing over time. At what point would having just one smaller middle school stop being workable from an educational and operational standpoint? And how are we factoring in these longer term cycles? Because I mean, the demographer projected, out to 2030. What about beyond that? Because from everything I've heard, it goes up and down. It happens all the time, right? And especially since this school was only built 10 years ago, I'm concerned, and I would hate to consolidate it now, only to have to open it again in the future, or not even open again. As someone said, it's pretty much, you can't take that, right? We close it, or we consolidate it, it's consolidated, and it's done. If we were to need it again in the future, what does that amount of space that we have over at Nesbitt and Ralston, what does that look like? Power button, Dan.
There we go. Thanks, John. That was a really, really good question. So I'm going to bite off pieces, and if I miss part of it, please feel free to ask it. We share a microphone. So first, I can use my teacher voice. How are we trying? So I'll just go ahead and hold it, and when it comes on, I'll speak as loud as I can. So a couple of things I'll mention just in terms of planning. I think it's really important. We can only look at the set of facts that we have here and now, and do our best long term to ensure that we're making those decisions with as much information as we can. When we look at enrollment, we can go back to our TKers. TK data is even a little shaky now because it just started full enrollment. But we can certainly look back TK and we can kind of graduate kids up and see. The nomographer adds an extra 4 years because they can start to look at birth rates. So certainly we don't have a crystal ball, but we can make our best guess, our best judgment based on the facts that are in front of us. One of the things that is strong about BRSSD is we do have pretty stable enrollments. I'm not going to quote numbers from grade to grade, but when we do our projections internally, we move our second graders up to third grade, our third grade up to fourth grade, and so on. And that pretty much nails it. At certain points, we know kids come in, kids go out. There's private school enters and exits along the way. There's kids coming from private extended daycare opportunities that mirror TK, that they're going to probably come in with more kindergartners. So there's some trends like that that we can predict. But largely year over year, we're consistent. When we look across multiple years, we do see that decline, right? We see over the next few years, we're going to have larger 8th grade classes leaving us and smaller kindergarten classes coming in. That's one aspect of enrollment, right? Projections. When we look at enrollment at our middle schools, particularly our small middle schools, Nesbitt and Sandpiper, we have never fully optimized enrollment at either Nesbitt or Sandpiper. We've come close a few years, but right now we have 36 and 44 students in 6th grade enrolled in our programs, right? So roughly space across 6, 8 for 168. Again, we're running at about 70, 79% capacity. We do know that our community does value choice. We've done several things to boost enrollment. By no means perfect, but we've brought on board design thinking. We've brought on board IB. We've done before and after school language classes. We've tried music in different capacities. And consistently, we've still not been able to meet that target kind of enrollment at our small schools. So there is one aspect of declining enrollment, fewer kids in the district, but there's also that aspect of fewer kids are selecting Sandpiper and Nesbitt than we really need to be selecting Sandpiper and Nesbitt.
Please. So I'm hearing you say that we are having this choice made, and the students, despite multiple efforts, are not necessarily selecting Sandpiper or Nesbitt as their school choice. And just to think outside the box here, what might happen, or what would the ramifications be of potentially capping Ralston and almost forcing that full enrollment of our smaller middle schools? And well, let me finish. And if we were to do that based on Langley's survey, which said that the students that said that they wanted to go to Ralston, the majority of them ended up not wanting to go to Ralston. They were happy where they were. I would like to see the results of that survey, actually. I feel like that's really important information because as someone else in our community had said, we're allowing students to choose to go where their friends are going. And I know that there's a big piece of it where it's, oh, I want for sports, I want the music programs, I want XYZ, various different things. And those are the reasons I want to go to Ralston. But ultimately, how much of that, and I know we have our survey that says, hey, oh, these are things that are valid by our parents in our community. But is that something that we have to do? We don't let our students choose the class that they want to go to, or they don't get to choose their teachers. Why do they get to always select where they want to go?
Yes, I will say that that is a family choice. And families are responsible when that survey goes out for selecting the school that they prefer their child to go to. We do our best as a district to present all of the options for families. Thus far, we've said there's 3 great options, and we stand behind that with one great choice for each individual. We do have to make sure that we're optimizing our programs so that our programs are feasible, but also continue to provide that opportunity for kids. And part of that is steady and consistent enrollment, right? So yes, we want our families to pick their local middle school. Our data shows that that's not always the case. Actually, I would say, Langley, your survey is probably close. We said about 30% of kiddos that were in our 5th grade Sandpiper and Nesbit that attend 6th grade actually stayed at their schools, right? So 30%. And that's something that we have been trying to work on through family nights, through outreach. I know certainly Sandpiper staff have been talking with kiddos, Nesbit staff have been talking with kiddos and families. And yes, it is a family decision. I have middle schoolers myself, and that is a family decision, right? So, I'll just speak last year, and I always quantify numbers as a point in time, right? So even if you've been following presentations, the numbers shift slightly as we update enrollment and look at trends. Last year, the vast majority, I won't ever say all or every, very rarely, the vast majority of our kiddos in 5th grade eventually got their first choice. Not all, but most. That left all of our new.
Why is that?
Say again.
Why is that? Why were they given their first? At the detriment of our enrollment. Why was that?
We've had a practice as a district of valuing that family choice, and when we could honor it with our projections, we did our best to honor it. And we honored it for the last several years in spite of low enrollment at Nesbit and Sandpiper. So I think, as the board makes any decision, we do have to work to optimize programs and be aware that we will have fewer middle schools as we go along too, fewer middle schoolers, right? So just keeping that big picture in mind. It does create a challenge and not a reflection on families that are joining us in end of 5th grade year, moving on to 6th grade. But certainly our 5th grade families, when we've had 6 years, 7 years to work with those families, we know the Langleys and Eastons and whatnot, right? And we can design environments around our kids to optimize the instruction that happens. That's not the case when we're getting 6th, 7th, and 8th graders that are brand new to the RS system. That does impact the quality of programs, and it disproportionately impacts smaller programs. So those are some of the struggles that we've been grappling with. We talk about enrollment, and yes, it is. It's in opting in enrollment in our small middle schools, compounded by fewer kids district-wide. And we just have to make adjustments as we go.
Hello, everyone. I just wanted to echo Trustee Tang's sentiments, and we really appreciate you all coming here. It's getting late. Thank you for all of the comments, for your ideas, for sharing your thoughts. And I know it's very emotional. I also get emotional listening. So One thing I did want to bring attention to is that I think that it's very clear and evident by our student speakers here tonight that Sandpiper is an amazing school. So
Here.
So I did also just want to address my fellow board trustees. I am feeling similarly to some of the people who commented tonight that we may need more time with reaching out to the broader community. I know that we have done due diligence in putting communications out to families in the district. I know that Superintendent DeGuara did work putting articles in the Redwood Shores newsletter and a couple of other mailers and things in the Nesbitt district, Nesbitt neighborhood. But I do think that we should take the opportunity to make sure that we do everything we can to make sure the broader community and also the the Ralston community has a chance to have a forum as well. So I'd like to formally request that we add another special meeting so that we can do that.
If I may just talk about outreach, there's an element of communication. It's hard, right? We always work hard and we strive to communicate in the best ways that we can. In this case, we absolutely reached out to our community via Parent Square across the district. We also did a couple articles in the Redwood Shores Pilot, which is the community magazine that circulates within the shores. In Nesbitt, we did some outreach with the neighborhood association, the Sterling Downs Neighborhood Association, which did outreach as well. We've been invited to the Redwood Shores annual neighborhood community for Q&A it's not us presenting, it's us as a booth hearing community feedback. And we continue to receive feedback the board has in front of them, feedback from feedback@brssd.org. And certainly there is the opportunity. We have we have our board study session, board retreat for the community. Typically, that's where the board goes a little deeper in terms of topics of relevance. Sometimes we're talking about construction. Sometimes we're talking about turf. Other times, like planned for this one, we were doing a deep dive into special education. That said, we can absolutely, if the board decides, we can readjust, look at another input session and open that up for another community, Ralston. I will say, because of Ralston's reach, we have families at Ralston from all of our schools, right? So word does tend to spread out there, but certainly if the board desires to shift that retreat, we can. Anybody else?
Hello, sorry, thank you. So again, just to echo my fellow trustees, everyone's heartfelt and well thought out comments and ideas, I really appreciate them. We as a board really appreciate them. Thank you for coming out and letting us know how you're thinking about this and how you're feeling. I'm just, thinking off the top of my head, but, I think and having another session would be a possibility, another listening session. And ideally, I think, because I think what we as board members have been dealing with is we've been trying to honor choice. And unfortunately, we haven't been getting as many families as we would like who are choosing the smaller middle schools. But I would love all of you to be ambassadors to our current fifth graders throughout the district and our fifth grade families. I do take it to heart of the suggestions that maybe we haven't done as much as we could to try to encourage enrollment. So I would definitely be interested in that. However, I do think and people did allude to this as well. I think it's part of it is we're going to have to decide on choice versus geography, right? So even with more encouragement for families to pick our smaller schools, as our enrollment declines in the future, which it's projected to, then it prevents us from having a robust program at each small middle school that families are so proud of and want to be part of. So I'm definitely, as I believe Trustee Tang mentioned, like, well, why have we been giving people their choices? I think overall it's been part of our board policy is that for middle school, we try to, if you were here in fifth grade, that we try to give you your choice. And maybe that's what the community wants us to continue doing. But if the community is more interested in sort of a geography kind of channeling people into a certain school, that could be something we consider changing.
I'd like to piggyback off that, Trustee Northrup. Thank you. Those are great points. I think I just want to be really direct in making sure we say out loud very directly that that option that was just mentioned would mean that residents in Redwood Shores would then go to Sandpiper Middle School. So that would then take away the choice for students in Redwood Shores who wish to go to Ralston to go to Ralston. So it's definitely an option, but I just wanted to make sure that we publicly say directly that that does affect your ability, your child's ability to go to the larger school. Thank you. Oh, actually, I wanted to say one more thing. Sorry. Just another comment that I think is really important, and that is the ambassador piece. We really do want to work with you. We're here for you guys, the community, your children. So that's we want your ideas. We want you to give us those other things, thinking outside of the box. We're just 5 people. We can't think of everything. So if you do have ideas, please email the feedback at BRSSD and tell us what you think would be a good idea.
If I can really quick, I just want to speak to program. I want to say it's been of the last 3-4 years that we've gone down the design thinking and IB pathway in an effort to grow enrollment. We have not been as successful as we would have hoped. That said, I do want to express my confidence in both programs. They are, it is instruction that is important for our kids, whether it's here, Nesbitt, Ralston, it's an instructional practice that is important, right? I also want to say that there's an element of the, yes, all the data piece. Our kiddos who spoke tonight, it's indisputable. You got everything aside as superintendent, when you guys step up to the podium and speak with eloquence, passion, and have those skills that persuade, we know we've been successful. So I do want to just say, you guys are awesome too. A lot goes into our program. Your teachers are doing some incredible things. They are going above and beyond. They are, I won't quantify their work ethic compared to others, but their work ethic is amazing because they're creating those opportunities that don't exist in kind of the silo that comes inherent with a middle school program, right? So there is an element of our board decision, which we need to make sure that we're maximizing our teachers' potential too, that we're not having them create something that is not being optimized as well. So all of those things come into play in this very challenging decision.
Don't go there.
I have things to say. I'm going to start with a question based on some things I just heard, just to make sure I'm taking in all the same things. When we talk about choice versus geography, but our current number being 120-ish, which is saying 40 families, maybe we would choose geography for choice, not all families in Redwood Shores.
That's correct. I think if we did the number, we wouldn't be able to quite fit all families, all fifth grade families attending Redwood Shores and Nesbit here. But we would need to work on some criteria that allow for some flexibility. But
like we're not talking about actually extending the capacity.
We are not.
Okay, gotcha.
We are.
Okay.
The models, the small middle school models are pretty defined and pretty limited in terms of flexibility.
Yeah. Thank you. I just wanted that clarity. I'm trying to get through my bullets. First thing I want to say just to this group, good job. I seriously, yeah. And we say thanks for coming, but I didn't know what to expect. And I'm feeling all kinds of things. So yeah, just literally good job. I've been inspired by some, humbled by some, taking the task, which I always respect when I witness it and even experience it. Again, from students, adults, parents, faculty members. Yeah, seriously, great job. Thank you for your service. I was the PTA president, the support you're showing for each other. I want to really appreciate the support that I heard for Nesbit while here. And I'm not trying to actually bring that into it, but it was very clear. It was very clear. Which I didn't foresee that. So I loved how that felt. Bravery, especially if you just throw your name in last, things like that. Just want to shout that out. Candor, again, I always love it. Clarity, and then pride, right? Pride in the thing that you're part of the thing some of you have created. Just want to shout that out. I love it. We're all public people who got elected. We're also all parents. So just like parents in the room, I can't say how it feels. I can only imagine. I feel it as I'm in this room. And again, just want to give that air. It's hard to look at some of you. Yeah. When it feels like it's rushed, you might wonder if we hear you. And I just want to say, at least tonight, definitely, and with back in front of us and these papers, we do. So if you're wondering the other day, like, are we listening? Are we taking notes? Are we taking this seriously? Again, and if I want to be completely honest, in general, I think that becomes more and more true. In sense of like, there were conversations over years that maybe I didn't see faces to, and I do now. So I want to just give that air that, like, if you're wondering, are we listening? I want to believe I took this job that I always was, and I will admit that I am more now. I always wondered about programs and how people were choosing it. And I appreciated just kind of the call outs for just making deliberate and active choices and the just concepts of collaboration and accountability, both like with the community. I think that, again, when I think about like why I chose to sit up here and be part of this, nights like this are it, which again, this is what is possibly my last year of doing this. I haven't felt so clearly as right now. So again, thank you for that. What I heard asked for, but again, I just want to make sure I give air just to hear myself say it and commit to it, was clarity, creativity, due diligence, and validation. And again, I want to, like, if I'm making a checkbox in my head of what I do my best to contribute to a community that's going through what you're going through, that's there. Some of my last thoughts, I I live on the other side, and my kids go to Nesbitt, and so even in this process, have I learned more about Nesbitt? But I thought I knew how awesome it was, and I heard from my community that told me that. I feel less so about Sandpiper. Again, as a board member, I thought I knew, and actually as a parent in the PTA, I knew of it. I feel like what I'm trying to say is there's a commitment that I think I owe to this community of kind of meeting the end. Like there was somebody who literally talked about you should just come here more. And when I own that, I haven't done that. I haven't done that. I have been there a couple times. Could do more. I thought a real thing. Somebody mentioned Nueva, and I shouldn't give this complete air. I'm the dean of students at Nueva. So when you think of a design school, Gloria, I apologize for not having connected to you here. And for whatever we work on, I'm committed to being here more. Let's talk about what might be of value to you. Just want to say that because I do think design thinking has high potential. And we've talked about it before, but I haven't actually shown up. So you'll see my face. You'll see my face. Good. And that's not me speaking for the board. That's you're getting Jackie Bruno for that bit. Yeah. And then actually, I want to commit to just like a deep deliberation, and I am kind of going into this next few weeks with actually a more clear confidence in what kind of could be created in all of our options and what these two small schools that we're kind of explicitly talking about have done for communities. So again, just thanks for laying that out. I appreciate your presence. I'm intrigued to hear more questions. You have my commitments. Appreciate you.
So one of the things that, as we kind of deliberate. Okay, so one of the things is we deliberate, right? And I think it's been very eloquent around like keep coming back to, okay, there's some drivers and why now, right? What is it? Because everything has an impact. And so there is part of this community, it's 70%-ish that have picked Ralston, right? So when I'm talking to other families, some families in the written feedback and anecdotal and one-on-ones have also said, well, we're also happy with our choice. And it was a family choice and sometimes driven by the students that are independent of the amazing curriculum, right? And I think we want to have to, as a board and as a district, also do service to that. And especially, I think it was well said, if we value choice and family choice, however that's decided, right, wrong, or indifferent, there's plenty of choices. I look back and I wish my parents had made a different choice for my middle school and high school, but and it had nothing to do with the academics. And we don't have I always say we don't have a parent handbook, right? So we're trying to do the best for our children, our families, and with what's in front of us. And we're very lucky to have three amazing schools and that capacity to be able to do that. So first, I really want to recognize that, again, as been said before, the amazing program teachers and staff that allow us to be sitting in this position, unfortunately, and have that choice in front of us and what we value as a community. I just would like to though ask, because when somebody is like, well, what would time kind of give us? What maybe have we not done or done in the last 6-7 years? As Superintendent DeGuara said, when he first came in, the board at the time said, please continue to monitor this. Since I came in 4 years ago, this has been something that's been discussed, and I'm very confident that the professionals, our professional leadership, have whatever up to this point have done the best that they can, jiggering programs, getting more maybe marketing. And again, can more be done? Probably. But I would imagine that if something could be done to the extent that it has been done, just to give you an idea, with the IB program, and again, I'm not comparing the two, I'm just giving you a different perspective that you might not be aware. They went through, the teachers were very motivated as the teachers here but to go through with a certification, and even before certification, to envelop the IB, to create the planning, to move that forward, the framework, and then undergo annual reviews, even before the ability to then finally get certified as the only middle school IB program in San Mateo County. So the teachers have certainly, have the passion, the energy. It's not a reflection on that. So I guess my question, just to remind myself as well as others, to the superintendent Aguirre, is there's obviously a tipping point, right? So, and we know that we are kind of, I don't like the word, we're augmenting or making sure that programs are viable by assigning people who are not, maybe this is their first choice. Again, we've heard certainly that people have said, maybe it wasn't my first choice, but I'm so blessed to finally be in these two smaller schools. And I think that's amazing. But there is a waiting list of some, again, right, wrong, or indifferent, no judgment, that are saying, I've given it a shot and it's still not the right kind of community feel. So my question is why this year, after years of monitoring, observing, tinkering, is this the kind of the year where this decision needs to be made? Can you kind of reflect on that and why, why is this the tipping point year?
I think when we look at this year's sixth grade classes at both Nesbitt and Sandpiper, they're very small, 44 and 36. 2 teachers assigned to sixth grade. That puts our class ratios at 22 and half of 36, right? Those are really small classrooms. I always support, we always say small class, small teacher student ratio is great. Yeah, I think it's great, but there's also the positive that comes from the collaboration, the interaction with more kids, especially as we get older. I think there's that right balance. We've never said that the program has to be maximized at 168. But when we're running a program that has capacity for 168 and we're at 119 and 133, that's a pretty big gap. When I look at both programs together, I see one strong program that meets the needs of our district and of our community, at least on face value, on numbers. There's only so much numbers can say. There's only so much, community input says. It's finding that balance. So I'll go back to the question of why this year. It's becoming harder and harder for our teams to staff and teach a program that is dwindling. And we are pouring resources in. It's teachers and low ratios, but we're also trying to identify those high leverage things that we think our community wants and address that. For example, at Sandpiper this year, language was the challenge. So we introduced a virtual language option. Still, our numbers are down. We look at music. It's really hard to have a music program in Sandpiper structure and Nesbitt structure, just because of the small program feel and the way they have blocked and rotated and all of the elements that go into crafting that program. It's not possible to really have a dedicated period that kids rotate through, that everybody has that comprehensive music. So we've done one-offs like morning or after school music. But for some students who have been taking music virtually their whole lives, they need the comprehensive option that Ralston provides, that just can't be provided in the small school environment, right? So it's a lot of factors that are coming together at once that we're looking at, but primarily driven by our low numbers. I will say, and I hate quoting numbers. We're about 20 to 30 between the two schools of requests to go to a different middle school that we were not able to honor this year across all grades. That's a number they put in their application at some point. We've kept that application kind of on hold in a list. Might they all say they're satisfied with where they are? Perhaps. But again, our numbers are still low, right? So I think that's our why and bring it here. I think to Trustee Northrup's point, as a district, we have always valued choice. And we have valued choice of our families that have been with us long term, which is incredibly important. But there's also sustainability issues with the way we're doing enrollment.
So thank you very much for that clarification. I guess I want to just pivot to the opportunity to shift our board retreat to another session for both public comment and discussion before February, before the regular board meeting. And if the board would find that of value to kind of configure that differently from the work of the district that we had planned, which was special services, construction, and perhaps some board governance, right? So is there a motion? Well, that's the best way to go. Sure.
I move that we change the board retreat to another special board meeting.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Can I ask a question before?
Yeah.
Are we talking about a meeting where there's kind of a presentation and questions answered, or is it just another session where we're?
Session, I was thinking the same. So.
Use the microphone.
So I think that's all on the table. I mean, in every board meeting, there is an opportunity for public comment. And so again, as Trustee Northrop said, we certainly, if you feel that people have not been heard or that are out there, regardless of even if they're not at these schools, I think this, again, we are trying to understand what our community values. And we have done that through a couple different mechanisms. And I think here's another opportunity kind of to show and maybe raise an area that we haven't thought of, or just a different approach, or just be heard. So I think, to your point, I think it's really kind of all of the above. It gives us an opportunity with the Brown Act and just being out in front of the public to kind of just have some more deliberation. And it also provides an outlet with public comment. That's how I'm thinking about it. Does that kind of jive with everybody as well? Sure. Okay. So why don't we? Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Your vote. Do you think?
Nope. Well. Okay. So I have a first and a second. What do I have? All those in favor, please.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. 5 in favor. None object. So we will work. I will work with Superintendent Aguirre. Yeah.
Just a clarifying question. So that would be completely dedicated towards this listening session, and we would no longer be talking about.
That's a great.
All right.
I would recommend that we table the agenda that had planned. President and I had planned for the board. We will either incorporate that into future board meetings and or just reschedule our board study session for another day.
Yeah. So your question, this will be just solely dedicated to the middle school alignment configuration.
I did hear the board's desire to move away from our normal general space at the county office or temporary space away from Nesbit and away from Sandpiper, and perhaps do a session. I'll just say Ralston because it's the other middle school, not knowing if Ralston is available that night or if there's any other conflicts. But somewhere on the other end of the district, is that what I'm understanding from the trustees?
That would be great. I'm sorry, I realize we voted, but I have another question. 0 actions will happen at this meeting. It's purely discussion. I don't going to vote on anything at that meeting.
That is correct. So any I'd say any item that the board takes action on, I guess, independent of changing the topic of a meeting, has to be agendized for action. So there will be no action taken at that meeting.
So again, there were five yeas, 0 nays. So it passes that we will convert and have another meeting on this, another meeting for this discussion point agenda item. I want to thank again everybody for coming. We are closing this session at 9:04, and thank you again. Have a nice evening.